every minute of it. But it took us 100 years to be able to get a female, a lady, to be the meet referee. This year, our meet referee is Madam Referee Judy Sharkey. But I think we did things right. For 100 years, now we have Madam Referee.
At this time, I'm going to ask a good friend of the Y. It's a bit of a surprise. He's humble. He's not going to be too excited. But Jack Verhelst, come up on the stage. I wanted you to put eyes on a true legend of our sport. As a young coach back in the early 90s of what's now the YMCA, the Triangle, I had great reverence for our officials at the meet. Jack Verhelst has been attending Y Nationals for many years. I'll tell you how many in just a moment. He started out just as a part-time coach and aquatic person in Boone, Iowa, and he made his way up the ranks. And at the age of 28, he attended his first Y Nationals as an official in 1973. And so today, I hope that you will celebrate with me an incredible legacy. He continues to serve his local, regional, state, and our national championships. But let's celebrate by standing for this incredible volunteer on his 50th year of serving as a volunteer for our YMCA Nationals, Jack Verhelst.
I am very honored to present this plaque to Jack Verhelst, and I would just like to read what is written on it. Presented to Jack Verhelst for his undying devotion to the sport of swimming and the YMCA National Championships. Jack Verhelst is our ultimate official.
Day number 4 for our centennial year, 2023 YMCA Short Course Nationals. We had a moment of remembrance for Glenda Pay, Chris Sarwitz, and Tom Warwick. Glenda from Greater Dauphin, Chris from Forest Hills, New York, and Tom from Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Each of those volunteers or coaches or staff or who have had a part in YMCA Short Course Nationals have passed on. And may each of their spirits inspire us to care more about each other and the community that we serve and live in there. They have been very involved over the years. So we're going to get ready here momentarily to start. We had some great devotions. We just saw Val Gibson's name mentioned as the Connie Carroll Award. Hey Val, if you're listening, we love you, we miss you, and we know you're on the way to a full recovery. And we've been praying for you, and we do miss you here. And then, of course, Jack Verhelst celebrating his 50th year here. So, again, welcome. This is day number 4. We start with the 500 freestyle event, and the men will be in the championship end of the pool. And they start off out of heat number 1, your national record, 4:18:01, set back in 2011. Nick Caldwell from Sarasota, that's also a championship meet record. And then up next will be the women, and they will be in the in the scoreboard course, and that is lane one at the top, lane 8 at the bottom. And on the men's course, it's lane 1 at the bottom and lane 8 at the top. On the women's course, championship and national record, Courtney Harnish holds that. 4:39.13, set back in 2014. There'll be 9 heats, so heat number 1 is stepping up. 9 heats on the men's side also. Right now in lane number 1 is Alex DeVries. 2 is Chase Easton. 3, Darren Osbos. 4, Will Trotman from the Wilton Y Wahoos. Lane 5 is Evan Harrison. 6 is Braden Todd. 7, Brandon Myers, and lane number 8, Ethan Leamer. Over on the women's side, we have 3 swimmers in heat number 1. That's out of lane number 3, Elise Pauschaw. Lane number 2 is Riley Edge, lane number 4 is Riley Edge, and lane number 5 is Tegan Jeffers. We'll try to track you through these 500s and try to keep the top times. Right now, Trotman out and 1:22.15 for the Wilton Y Wahoos over there on the men's side. Once again, lane 1 at the bottom of the pool on the men's side, lane 8 up top, and on the women's side, lane number 1 at the top of your screen and lane number 8 at the bottom. So last year it took on the men's side a 4:41.41 to get into the C final. And then into the B final was 4:38.98. And into the A final last year was a 4:34.11. And on the women's side last year, it was a 5:01.87 into the C final, 5:00.46 into the B final. And into the A final, it took a 4:55.61. And these gentlemen working their way through. And they're halfway through, and it looks like Will Trotman on the men's side of the 2:19.70 for Will. Not far behind him is Evan Harrison from Schrader. Will 16 years old, Evan 17 years old. Looks like holding down the 3rd spot is Chase Eaton from Piedmont in lane number 2. And over on the women's side, up there in lane number 3 from Oshkosh, Elise Paschalk, coming up on the 200 mark at a 1:59.35. So as long as all these guys on the guys' side basically are holding 29s. There's a 30 in there and there's a 28 in there. But that's Will Trotman in the yellow cap center of the pool. Kind of gallops, which is not a bad thing for distance swimmers. I've seen some great distance swimmers over the years. One of his predecessors for Wilton, one of the great distance swimmers, Ian Rainey, on the swim at Michigan and NYU, had that style. He will be coming up on the 400 mark for Will. And halfway through on the women's side, that's Elise Paschalk at 2:30.33. So Trotman, I'll do this the other night in the 1,000, where Will was galloping his way through. And now trying to move up out of lane number 7, Braden Myers from Pal Crosley, the Tiger Sharks. And here comes the field here as these boys will come in up on the bell lap momentarily. Trotman was at 29.36, and we'll see where they are. He's got the lead right now by 0.4 of a second over Myers and 0.42 seconds over Todd as they try to chase him down. And here they come up there in 6 and 7. So that would be Braden Todd and Brandon Myers and Will Trotman. So pretty good first heat, opening heat for these guys. Not bad at all. And taking the first heat with Braden Todd, he goes 4:45.35, followed by Myers at 4:45.55, and then Trotman at 4:45.72. So 4:45.35 for Braden Todd. He's your leader on the deck through one heat. And then over on the women's side, about 75 yards to go. It's still Elise Paschalk. Elise from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. She'll have 50 to go. And on the men's side right now, we have Will Pestricelli in 1 from Greater Somerset, Sebastian Aguilar from Oshkosh in 2, Carter Hagenauer from Pal Crosley in 3, Gus Hand from Lakeland Hills in 4, Richard Wang from Piedmont in 5, Adam McCramey from Greater Monmouth in 6, Tyler McGeehan from Fanwood Scotch Plains in 7, and Brent Hinckley in lane number 8 from Twin Rivers. And Elise will be finishing up here, and she'll go 5:07.67 for Elise Paschalk. Nice swim for Elise. And they'll stage heat number 2 momentarily. Right now we've got Richard Wang out in front at the 100 on the men's side at 52.34. And heat 2 of 9 for the women in the water. Lane number 2 is Chelsea Burkhart from Foothills Y. Lane 3 is Megan Grisanti from Westport Weston. She's 13 years old. Lindsay Bright from Lancaster and Fairfield is in 4. Anna Buchert from Greater Spartanburg in 5. Sarah McGann from Westchester, Pennsylvania is in 6. And Lauren Lane from Fanwood Scotch Plains, New Jersey is in lane number 7. Over on the men's side now, it's taking a somewhat substantial lead here early on. 200 through is Richard Wang at 148.43. And on the women's side, coming up to the 100 mark, up there in lane number 3, that looks like Megan Grisanti from Westport Weston, 13 years old, as I mentioned. She's about 7/10 ahead at the 100. And we are 250 through, halfway home. Richard Wang has a 2:16.71. He's holding low 28s right now, which is a pretty good pace. Top time so far, 4:45.35. Braden Todd out of heat number 1. So Wang about little over 2 seconds over the field. Petricelli second and Hand in third. And Gus Hand, he had his dad up in the bleachers earlier this morning doing some trivia questions for his father, which was great. He got the answers right. So quick shout out to Dad for taking that on this morning. Did a great job of getting those answers right. So let's see if I can find his question. It was a difficult one. Hand now in lane number 4, trying to move up. He was 28.95 on that last. So he's trying to make some way through with 50 to go, trying to chase down Richard Wang. There he is. Great swim on down here also in lane number 1. Will Pestricelli, he comes back in 28.09. Gus Hand, he came back in 27.36. So real good swim for Gus Hand Will Pestrucelli. So Pestrucelli now your leader on the deck from Greater Somerset County. He goes 4:41.54. Followed by Hand. Nice swim there for the guys. Coming up now, heat number 3. Heat number 2 for the women still in the pool. They have 100 to go, and it's still Megan Grisanti. But the field has evened up a bit with Lindsay Bright now coming back from Lancaster and Fairfield in lane number 4. And in lane number 5 from Greater Spartanburg, Anna Buchert. Those are the top 3 trying to chase down a top time right now, 5:07.67. In the water on the men's side, we'll introduce those here now. Those gentlemen now is Oliver Stoll in lane number 1, Greater Spartanburg, Connor Pilgerd in Stevens Point in 2, Jake Prevette in Greater Spartanburg in 3, Cooper Tinsley from Countryside in 4, Kenneth McLaughlin from Kennewa in 5, Dante Dentinho from Greater Monmouth in 6, Cooper Weiss Triangle in 7, and Michael Gauthier from Cheshire in 8. So here comes Megan Grisanti, 13 years old. Great swim right there to 5:06.42, and she has your top time. Grisanti followed by Bright and then Buchert out of heat number 2. Heat number 3 coming up on the women's side. Heat number 3 on the men's side, through to 100. Oliver Stoll down here in lane number 1 from Spartanburg. He was now through the 150 at 1:20.32. Over on the women's side, we have Billy Jo Keith in lane 1, Olivia Corby in lane from Triangle, Olivia Corby from Upper Palmetto in 2, Ellen Lang from Pal Crosley Jr. in 3, Mia Hatzis in regional from the regional Y in Western Connecticut. She's in 4. Sarah Wells in 5 from Piedmont, Tegan McEnroe in 6 from Greater Spartanburg, Josie Marino in 7 from Wyckoff, New Jersey, and lane number 8, Ivy Slavinsky from Greater Monmouth. That's heat number 3 of 9 in the water on the women's side, and on the men's side, still leading Oliver Tull. It's the time to beat on the men's side is 4:41.54. We work our way through these 500s. 9 heats in total on the men's and on the women's side. Early leader looks like Mia Hatzitz from Regional Y Western Connecticut in the women's pool. And she's out at the 100 at 57.07, so pretty good out. She's got about 1.23 seconds over the field at this point. Here's Oliver Stoll from Spartanburg. He's at 2:44.23, about 2 seconds plus over the field. And then second there's Jake Prevette, one of his training partner in teammates, and then Dante Dentino from Greater Monmouth up there in lane number 6 is in 3rd. Over on the women's side, it's still Mia Hatzis, almost a little less than 2 seconds over the field. Up there in lane number 2 from Upper Palmetto is Olivia Corby. She's in 2nd right now, and Sarah Wells from Piedmont in lane number 5 is in 3rd. Once again, lane number 1 up top of your screen on the women's side, and lane number 8 at the bottom on the women's side. And then on the men's side, it's lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen. The top is lane number 8. So Oliver Stoll having a great swim here. We'll see what his splits are. He's been to 28, so he's a 28 mid right there as he pushes his way through the 400 mark at 3:41.05. So Stoll, a little outside smoke here down in lane number 1. He'll be taking the bell, and it's Stoll, followed by Prevette, and then Dentino. Trying to make a move up there in 7 is Cooper Weiss from Yoda. But 50 to go. For Oliver Stoll, he's at 4:09. 71. He was 28.66 on the last 50. We'll see if we can get a few more tenths dropped off there. He looks pretty strong right now. Coming out of heat number 3. Again, once again, it took a 4:41.41 to get into last year's final. He's well under that, so we'll see where he lands this year for Oliver Stoll. That was a great swim of 4:37.78, followed by Pravat, and then Dante Dentino closing fast on Pravat. Next up will be heat number 4. That is your top time so far. And over on the women's side right now, still Mia Hatsis through 350. She's at 3:30.63, followed by Corby in lane number 2 up top there. And then down here, it was Ivy Slavinsky from Greater Monmouth, also moving up with Josie Marino from Wyckoff down here in lane numbers 8 and 7. On the men's side, heat number 4 in the water, Noah Marcristi from Burlington, Camden County is in 1. Nick Volkoff from Greater Monmouth in 2. Jed Ritchie from Chambersburg in 3. Lucas Standridge from Somerset County in 4. Anthony Garano from Piedmont is in 5. Andrew Sieber from Greensboro in 6. Holden Niss from Jackson Community in 7. And Peter Zalewski from Cheshire, Connecticut is in lane number 8. On the women's side, coming up at the 450 mark. And it's Mia Hatsis. She's got a pretty substantial 3.64 seconds lead over the field. She's at 4:32.56. Last year, it took a 5:01.87 to get into that C final. But Hatsis doing a great job. Josie Marino now doing well here down in lane 7. And it'll be Hatsis at a 5:02.46. So now she has your top time through 3 heats. Mia Hatsis takes heat 3. Heat 4 now staging. We've got Taya Schneider in lane 1 from Greater Spartanburg. Ellery Bacall from Greater Spartanburg's in 2. Megan Gangaway from Laurel East Hartford in 3. Casey Sanders from Farmington Family in 4. Addie Scott from Kennedy Jennersville in 5. Catherine Carboni from Regional Y Western with Connecticut in 6. Maggie Rutledge from the Regional Y Western Connecticut in 7. And Audrey Langanelli from Upper Mainline is in lane 7. So 200 through. We've got Anthony Garano. He's at 1:48.35. I'm sorry, Sieber, now your leader at 2:16.97 through the 250 mark. So halfway through, it's Sieber, Garano, and then Stainbridge in lanes 6, 5, and 4 respectively. So you can see them right there lined up nicely. Right there, lane 6, Andrew Sieber from Greensboro, our local host Y. Still Sieber, Garano, Stainbridge. Sieber from Greensboro, Garano from Piedmont, Virginia, and Stainbridge from New Jersey, Greater Somerset County. We're even now, Garano and Sieber. So Garano has moved up. Dead heat, 3:13.73 through 350. Once again, trying to get below that 4:37.78, which came out of the last heat. Oliver Stoll from Greater Spartanburg put that in out of lane number 1. Over on the women's side through 200, we have Casey Sanders and then Megan Gangaway and Addie Scott as your leaders. 1:58.31 for Casey Sanders. And here come your men. There's your bell left. Cecil is ringing up. Hey, you know, Cecil out there, our deck referee, or our starter here on the men's 500. He's an Olympic starter. He started all the men's heats in, I believe it was Rio. And we know what was happening in Rio that year with men's swimming. It was outstanding. And women's swimming, at least, but he's been absolutely tremendous. Okay, here we go. Andrew Seaver comes back 4:38.82. Good swim there. Verano at 4:39.94. And then in third, Stanbridge was 4:41.00. So still your leader on the deck, Oliver Stoll, 4:37.78. Heat 5 will be up next. And over on the women's side, we're through 300. Casey Sanders still your leader. Right next to her, Megan Gangaway. Kind of staying with her at there, 3:00.22 and 66, respectively. And then down here in lane number 8, Audrey Langanelli in the pink cap. See her. And on the men's side, let's introduce heat number 5, London Rising from Dick Family YMCA in 1. Lincoln Council, Greater Spartanburg in 2, Chase Shapiro, Westport Weston in 3, Nick Stroh, Pal Crossley in 4, Will Charlton, Piedmont in 5, Michael Adams from the Wilton Waiwahoos in 6, Liam Ailman, Western North Carolina in 7, and Will Hines in lane number 8. And on the women's side, 100 to go, still Sanders right next to her, Megan Gangaway. 4800ths of a second separating those two, and trying to stay with them down here in lane number 8 is Audrey Langanelli from Upper Main Line. Sanders from Farmington, Gangaway from Laurel East Hartford. I can hear Kaylee now through my headset. Sanders, your leader by 1500ths of a second over Gangaway. 50 to go. See who has the legs to get it home. London Rising on the men's side. 7/100ths ahead of Michael Adams from the Wilton Waiwahoos right now. Through the 150. And keep your eye also down here on Langanelli. And it will be a stretch, and it will be Gangaway, then Langanelli, and then Sanders. So 5:03.00 for Megan Gangaway. Nice swim. And there's times up there. And you can check out all of our times. And now it's Michael Adams at a 1:49.41 on the men's side. So Adams at the 200, your leader. From the Wilton Waiwahoos. Trains for Joe Bonk. The legendary Y swimmers, long course, short course from Yoda. Up in Wilton, been coaching the national squad now for a number of years. Now it's back to Charlton. Adams only 9/100 behind Charlton. Will Charlton from Piedmont. And on the women's side, in the water, heat number 5 and 9, Skylar Jansen in 1 from Birmingham. Charlotte Trenchelaine from Greater Monmouth in 2. Audrina Supton from Emmy Lyons in 3. Caitlin Bauer from Lynchburg in 4. Zoe Arakilian from Greater Somerset County in 5. Serena Dickey from Lakeland Hills in 6. Sarah Fox from Upper Main Line in 7. And Avery Cudlack from Laurel East Hartford in lane number 8. Time to beat so far, 5:02.46. Mia Hatsis out of heat number 3. And on the men's side, we're looking for a 4:37.78. Oliver Stoll put that in out of heat number 3. Those are the lead times so far unofficially through in the 500. So right now, Charlton, a bit of a lead over Lincoln Council down here in lane 2, and then Michael Adams up there in lane number 6. And 350 through, heading up to the 400 mark. Cudlack, your leader on the women's side. She's up down here in lane number 8. So still Charlton trying to pull away from the field a bit with 100 to go. And on the women's side, it's tightening up a bit, but Cudlack down here in lane number 1, still your leader, coming up on the 200 mark. And now finishing up, will be finishing up On the men's side, there's the bell lap. And that goes to Will Charlton from Piedmont. He's at 4:12.74 with 50 to go. Followed by Council and then Ailman. Here comes Charlton. The time to beat is a 4:37.78. And he'll be over that, but he'll be at 4:40.41, so that's a real good time for Will Charlton. And Charlton's followed by Ailman and then Council. And then over on the women's side, heat number 5 is in the water. Avery Cudlack from Lehigh, 250. She was 2:29.33. Splitting those 30s, which is where you need to be, but now just 1/100th of a second ahead of Bauer. Bauer in lane number 4 from Lynchburg, Virginia. And next heat for the men is in the water. This is just before our circle seated heat, so things will be zipping up here a little bit as we move through these 500s. And the women will be through 350 yards. Over on the men's side, heat number 6, Jack McCrae from Upper Palmetto is in lane 1. Rique Turbo Casano from Greater Somerset County in 2. Cody Lonsbury from Indian Valley, Connecticut is in 3. Cam Kraft from Emmy Lyons is in 4. Nick Bacall from Greater Spartanburg in 5. Mark Platnoff, Westport West in 6. Michael Grannon from Wyckoff is in 7. And Chase Grissy from Emmy Lyons in 8. And your early leader is Cody Lonsbury out at 50.29 seconds. Cody had a real good long course meet last summer and now stepping it up in the short course meet. He's only 15 years old. So here's Cudlack on the women's side. She's got 100 to go. She is your leader for a 191 through 400. So she's been splitting in the 30s pretty much the whole entire 16 lengths that she's been through. She's down here in lane number 1, and then Bauer up there in 2 trying to chase her down with 50 to go. It is Avery Cudlack from Lehigh. She's at 4:32.73. Time to beat is 5:02.46. She's got a shot to take over the lead on the deck. Avery Cudlack, if she can get her legs into this and finish strong, try to get into that 29 range or 28 range. That's a big task, but she's putting it all out there for Lehigh, and it will be. Cudlack goes 5:03.46. I'm sorry, 5:03.51, followed by Bauer and then Sarah Fox. Real good swims right there. So on the men's side, we are halfway through. We were halfway through with the leader, Rique Iturbe Casano. He was 2:14.44. He was 27.97 on his 50 leading into that 250. Now, currently 250 through. Almost 300. And we're at the 300 mark right now. And it's Rique Iturbe Casano from Greater Somerset County. And he's followed by Nick Bacall from Spartanburg and Cody Lonsbury from Indian Valley. I'll introduce you to women's heat number 6. Molly Kroger from Talbot County is in 1. Alexander Summers, or Lexi Summers from Hamilton, is in 2. Catherine Crinson from Hickory Foundation in 3. Mary Carl from Boyertown in 4. Katie Pestruccelli from Greater Somerset County in 5. Jessica Kroll from Greater Monmouth in 6. Colleen Bull from Greater Somerset County in 7. And Amelia Doach from Burbank is in lane number 8. Once again, it took a 5:01.87 to get into that C final, 5:00.46 B final, and 4:55.61 to the A final. That was all last year at this meet. Nick Bacall on the men's side through the 400 is your leader. He's 3:39.73, so he's having a pretty good swim, as is Rique Iturbe Casano. down here in lane number 2, and Cody Lonsbury in lane number 3. There you can see them as they work their way up to the final in the bell lap. The referee Cecil out there giving them the bell, and it is Bacall, almost a half a second ahead of the field, but here they come, trying to chase them down on that last 50. On the women's side, coming up to the 200 mark, and it will be Katie Pestruccelli from Greater Somerset. And here on the men's side, great finish out of lane number 3, Cody Lonsbury. He comes all the way back. He goes 4:34.90. Now your new leader on the deck as we go into the circle seated heats. Cody Lonsbury from Indian Valley, Connecticut, 15 years old, looking to get into a scoring final and either a B or an A final. He looks pretty good. And there's Pestruccelli through 250 ahead of the field. Also down here in lane number 8, Anna Dosch, and then Colleen Bull. Colleen Bull from Greater Somerset County had the pleasure of announcing the Mets meet up at Rutgers in college, and her brother was swimming well as a freshman there in college in New Jersey. I hope that's where he's going. I've got to get my head straight with that, but they had a great swim. He was swimming real well as a freshman there. So women through 300. Here we go. First of our 3 circle seated heats on the men's side. Connor Mangan from Central Bucks Family YMCA is in lead number 1. He was 48th last year in this event, 21st in 2 back this week. Nathan Spetz from Pal Crosby Jr., 27th last year, 6th in the 1,000 this week. He's in 2. Lane number 3 is Campbell McFall, 58th last year from Indian Valley. Lane number 4 is Angus McDonald. He was 3rd in the 2 breast, 4th in the 4 IM this week from Birmingham. Maddox Turnus, 10th in the 1,000 this week from Greater Spartanburg's in 5. He's 15. Isaac Carr's 15, and he's 25th last year, 4th in the 1,000 from Champaign County, also 8th in the 4 IM. Hunter Kunzels in lane 7, 15th last year, 23rd in the 2 back this week from Greater Monmouth. In lane number 8, Dan Godino, 17th last year, 12th in the 1,000 from Regional Y Western Connecticut. So that's your field there. First of our 3 circle seated heats. 4:34.90 time to beat right now on men's side at Cody Lonsbury. It took a 4:34.11 to get into that A final last year. How about that? So Cody Lonsbury really put the pedal down, and there were a couple. That was a good swim because it was closer with those top 3 swimmers, Nick Bacall and Enrique Iturbe Pisano in that last heat were right with him. So there's a pot. They could get back to the scoring rounds. Katie Pestruccelli with 50 to go. She's at 4:33.23, and Amelia Dosch and then Colleen Bull. They're in the 4:33. So we got a race here. Time to beat on the women's side is a 5:02.46. See if we can get to that 5:02.46 or under mark. Take the lead, and it will be. Look at that. Amelia Dosch and Colleen Bull pull it off at the end, both going 28s highs, and they have 5:02.35, which does, and 5:02.40, which are the top 2 times right now. So Dosch goes 5:02.35, top time so far through 6 heats unofficially. Bull has the second fastest time at a 5:02.40. So next, as the men work their way through, 300, Angus McDonald. He's at 2:41.61. McDonald from Birmingham, Michigan. As I mentioned, he was 3rd in the 2 breast, 4th in the 4 IM. Looking to final again for the 3rd night in a row. And over on the women's side, we have heat number 7 in the water, Nita Scholik. In lane number 1, 18th in the 200 from Jackson, Kristen Dietzweiler, 7th in the 1,000, 14 years old from Oshkosh. Lane 3 is Samantha Dugan, 18th last year from Greater Monmouth. Lane number 4, Virginia Hastings, 7th in the 4 IM last night, 17th in the 200 free, but I think that would have scored easily in the round of 16 and she was 17th last year, and she's from the Wilton Wahoos. 400 yards through on the men's side right now. Taylor Goodwin, 28th last year, 12th in the 1,000. Western North Carolina, he's also 22nd in the 200 free. Holly Van Ars, St. Cloud YMCA, is in 6th. Emerson Dalton, 11th in the 1,000 from Hamilton, is in 7th. Elodie Mitchell, 21st in the 100 fly from Triangle, is in 8th. So there's Isaac Carr, 25th in this event last year, 4th in the 1,000, 8th in the 400 IM. For the men, Carr up there in lane number 6, followed by McDonald in lane number 4, battling it out. Also up there in lane number 8, Dan Godino. Dan seems to love those outside lanes. I can remember calling his races at long course this past summer, and it will be Isaac Carr coming back 27.19. He's now 4:31.97. So Isaac Carr, you're a leader on the deck. Nice finish there for Isaac Carr from Champaign County, Illinois. Great swim. Next up, heat number 8. This is a circle-seated heat. First to 2. And then on the women's side right now, we've got out there in lane number 1 is Nina Schulich. Nina Schulich from Jackson Community Y. Through the 250 was 2:26.59, followed by Kirsten Diesweiler from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and then Virginia Hastings now moving up. We've got Hastings on the backside. She'll be a Bison at Bucknell in the fall, but really turned it on last night in that C final of the 200 free. Did a great job there. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the time, but it was at or near her personal best. She did a double yesterday at 400 IM and waited about 20 minutes, jumped in for a heat of the 200 free. She finaled in the 400 IM at best time of in finishing in 7th place. So Schulich has about a 1.22 on Hastings, and then Beachwheeler, and then the men are through 100 with Nolan Miller, now your leader. I'll introduce them here momentarily as they work their way through. So on the men's side, Ethan Shutton, 20th in the 1,000 from Schrader's in 1. Bryce Menschhoff, 26th last year from Blue Ash. J.C. Gordon, 5th last year from Lynchburg. Isaac Flaggy won the 1,000, second in the 4M this week from Schrader. Nolan Miller, 3rd last year, 6th in the 200 free from Champaign, is in 5. Teddy Blake, 9th in the 2 back, 19th in the 2 free from Yoda, is in 6. Peter Smelzer, 14th in the 1,000, is in 7 from Henry Lyons. In lane number 836 last year from Birmingham is Ian Duncan. So it's now Schulich and then Goodwin and Hastings. And here comes Hastings. We'll watch her put on this last sprint. See if she'll be able to get it done. Up there in lane number 1 is Schulich, still there. But here comes Hastings. As I said, she has a lot of back half speed. Also right next to her is Taylor Goodwin. But who will get there? And it will be Virginia Hastings going 28.68. She's at a 4:58.53. Now your leader on the deck. First woman under 5:00. And Flagg out through the 300, our 1,000 champ. He's at 2:40.71. Time to beat on the men's side, 4:31.97. Time to beat on the women's side, 4:58.83. First of our 2 circle-seated heats on the women's side is now on the water. Out of lane number 1, Catherine Bashane from Farmington Valley. She was 8th in the 1,000, 63rd in this event last year. Makeda Pottinger, 19th last year, 6th in the 1,000 from York and York Counties in 2. Julia Bartow, 44th last year, 13th in the 2 back, 8th in the 400 IM from Cheshire's in 3. Lane number 4 is Hayden Penny, 4th last year, 2nd in the 4 IM this week from Spartanburg. Lane number 5, Ava Suppin. She won the 1,000 the other night. 8th lane in this event last year from Emmy Lyons. Lane number 6 from Western Branch, Delaware. 11th last year, 5th in the 1,000. Caitlin Fitzgerald. Ava Knopsnyder was 21st in the 200 free this week and 14th in the 1,000 for Reading and Berks County. And in lane number 8, Olivia Herbert graded great devotional last night. 20th last year, 9th in the 2 breast. 3rd in the 4 IM last night. Great swim for Olivia from the Regional Y, Western Connecticut. So the men with 50 to go, it's still Isaac Flagg. He won the 1,000 the other night. Right now, he's trying to go below 4:31.97. He should be well below that as he works his way through this last 25. Also down here in lane number 2, there's Bryce Menchoffer. He's 26 last year in this event. He was 8th last night in the 200 free. But it will be Flagg at 4:29.80, followed by Teddy Blake with a strong 26.83 finish on that last 50, and then Bryce Menchoffer. So now your new leader on the deck is Isaac Flagg from Schrader, Wisconsin. Over on the women's side, through the 200 now, Hayden Penny. She's at 1:54.70. Final heat up on the men's side. Heat number 9 and 9 in the water on the men's side. Lane number 1 is Johnny Edwards, 13th last year from Greensboro. Riley Twist, 9th last year, 2nd in the 1,000, 9th in the 200 this week from Westport Westons in 2. Lane number 3 is Owen Nye, 11th last year, 9th in the 1,000, 24th in the 200 free from Greensboro. Lane number 4 is David King, 7th last year, 2nd in the 200 back, and he won our 4 IM last night from Piedmont, Virginia. Logan Richards in lane number 5, 8th last year, 13th in the 1,000 from Upper Mainline. And lane number 6 is Owen Markowitz, 4th last year, 7th in the 1,000, 7th in the 4 AM this week from Lakeland Hills. In lane number 7, Braden King, 50th last year, 8th in the 1,000 this week from Piedmont. And in lane number 8, Cash Walls, 51st last year from St. Cloud. So King's out first at the 100 at 49.41. There you can see him center of the pool. Time to beat 4:29.80. King comes off that first place finish last night in the 4 IM. Great swim by David last night. And over on the women's side, we still have Hayden Penny, our runner-up in the 4 IM last night. She is about a 2.5 seconds ahead of Ava Suppin, our 1,000 free champ. And then in 3rd is Julia Bartow from the Cheshire Y Sea Dogs up there in lane number 3. So coming up on the 200 mark out of lane number 4, here comes King. He's at 1:43.24. Pretty good split right there. Flagg has the 4:29.80 in the mix, and here we are in a first circle seated heat on the women's side. Now trying to move up, Ava Suppin. And they'll have 50 to go after they hit the pads down on the turn on the start end here. And Penny now just below a 1.5 seconds over Suppin, and Pottinger from York and York County in lane number 2 up there is in 3rd, trying to hold off Julia Bartow. But here comes Hayden Penny. And as I mentioned, she was 4th in this event last year. Suppin 8th last year in this event. But it'll be Penny at a 4:52.88. Your new leaders on the deck. Here's Hayden Penny at 4:52. So Hastings was the top, and now it is 4:52 for Hayden Penny. Over on the men's side, 350 through. Still David King. And on the women's side, we have heat number 9 in the water. Lorelei Page, 19th last year from Lakeland Hills in 1. Zoe Snyder in lane number 2. She was 3rd in the 1,000, 11th in the 4 AM, 17th in the 2 back from York and York County. Lane number 3 is Kimberly Shannon, 2nd in the 1,000 from Greater Susquehanna Valley. Lane number 4, Maddie McLaughlin, our top seed. She was 3rd last year, 10th in the 200 back, 5th in the 200 free this week from Kanawha. Anna Mosch, 1st in the 200 free last night. Greater Somerset County, she's in lane number 5. Lane number 6 is Kate Murray, 4th in the 200 free from Westport Weston. Lane number 7, Bridget Davis, 12th last year from Fanwood Scotch Plains. And lane number 8, Kelly Hassett, 27th last year, 19th in the 4 AM from Birmingham. And lane number 8, so that's your final heat in the water for the women on the 500 free. And McLaughlin out at a 55-52 right now. So Anna Mosch is out. I wasn't looking at my screen when I was reading that. And on the men's side, David King, who moves in at a 4:27.02. So King will be unofficially holding down lane number 4 tonight. King followed by Riley Twiss and then Owen Markowitz. So great swims right there for those guys. It used to be King and Flag going at it tonight. Isaac Carr also had a great swim earlier in those heats. So next up is the men's 200 IM on the men's course. Our national and championship meet record, 1:44.87, set back in 2019. Brendan Burns from the Upper Mainline YMCA. 11 heats in total. It'll be Lucas Abt in lane 3 from Hunterdon County. Lane number 4 is Chase Stevens from Farmington Valley. And lane number 5 is Ben LaJoy from a Triangle area. Finishing up here, the 500s on the women's side, Maddie McLaughlin from Kanawha. As I mentioned, 3rd in this event last year. 10th this week in the 2 back and 5th in the 2 free last night. Zoe Schneider now holding down 2nd through the 250. Schneider from York and York County at 2:27.17. Over on the men's side, now first is Lucas Abt from Hunterdon County YMCA. McLaughlin holding a fairly sizable lead right now over Bridget Davis and Zoe Snyder. Davis down here in lane 7, Schneider up there in lane number 2. Once again on the men's side, lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen. On the women's side, lane number 1 is at the top of your screen. So 150 to go on the women's side. As the men worked their way through the breaststroke, what did it take to get in last year on the men's side? The C final 153.73, 152.43 for the B final, and 151.57 on the A final. So Stevens now your leader, center of the pool, 129.21. But he's in a race with Lucas Abt. See Stevens from Farmington Valley. Why? McLaughlin still your leader. Top time on the women's side. Hayden Penny's got a 4:52.8. And Stevens, he goes 1:57.42. Unofficially your leader on the deck. I say unofficially, I don't know what the referees are calling out there, if they're calling anything. But right now, Chase Stevens does hold down the top spot. And McLaughlin, she is through 450 at 424. So she's got to move a bit. She's got to be in that 28s if she wants to hold down lane number 4, because 4:52.8 is the time. So if she could put that down, that would be great. Zoe Schneider now up there picking it up, and she'll be just over that. She's at 4:54.21. Finishing up there with Schneider at 4:56. and then Davis at 5.00. So pretty good swims right there for the ladies. On that side, unofficially, looks like Hayden Penny will hold down. They'll be staging for the 2YM coming up next, and that'll be 11 heats. Over on the men's side, we have in the water heat number 2 of the 11. It's Fanning in 1, Sutherland 2, Dwyer in 3, Reisner in 4, Morey in 5, Myers in 6, Stepp in 7, and Holleran in lane number 8. Right now, Ryan Sutherland from Triangle area is your leader. On the men's side, and over on the women's side, heat number 1 of 11 in the water. National record and championship record 154.25. Megan Small set that back in 2015. Mitchell in 1, Kidney in 2, Nowoswiak in 3, Everly 4, Frank 5, McIver 6, Corby 7, and Zerbel in 8. Finishing up on the men's side, it will be Axel Morey from Yoda. So Axel Morey from Yoda, he posts a 154.67. Good swim right there for Axel. And he's followed by Ryan Sutherland and then William Fanning. So that is your new lead time on the deck for Axel Morey. On the women's side, they are in, and here they are on the men's side. Heat number 3, Lee in 1, Franklin in 2, Lagameo in 3, Werner in 4, Volpe 5, Hartzell 6, Galata in 7, and Kukovecki in lane number 8. Once again, on the men's screen, if you're just tuning in, lane 1 is at the bottom of the screen. On the women's screen, it is at the top, lane 1. On the women's side, Victoria Kidney out in front first from Wheeling, West Virginia. She's up there in lane number 2. So the time to beat on the men's side, Alex Morey went 154.67. These boys are working their way halfway through. They'll transition into the breaststroke. And on the women's side, the last 50 push, or the last 25 push right now. Up there in lane 2, it still looks like Victoria Kidney, but now coming on out of lane number 5, Carly Frank. Making a push from Lakeland Hills, and it will be Frank. She goes 2:07, sets the pace at a 2:07.77. And it is right now Carly Frank, then Jenna Nowoswiak, and then Victoria Kidney out of that heat. That's how it finished up. Heat number 2 will be up next on the women's side. And here we are on the men's side down here in lane number 2. Braden Franklin from Greater Spartanburg, 15 years old. Time to beat, 154.67 will be just over that with a 155.39 for Braden Franklin. Nice swim right there. He's followed by John Kalata and then Davis Warner from Upper Mainline. Nice swim for those gentlemen. Up next on the women's course is heat number 2. And we'll be waiting momentarily as the men enter the water for heat number 4. We've got Pennington in 1, Bobby Regan from Regional Y Western Connecticut in 2. He's only 15 years old, so I've got another few years. It'll be like, this is a shout out to the Regan family, but 3 swimmers coming through the Regional Y Western Connecticut. It seems like it will be, by the time Bobby finishes, like 10 or 11 years. So, but I love it. It's great. The Regan family is one of the top-notch swimming families in Southwest Connecticut, in the state of Connecticut, and at why not? So lane number 3 is Ryan House from Greater Susquehanna Valley. Stroh in 4, Patrick 6, Lou 7, McKillop I'm sorry, Lou is in 6, McElclop in 7, and Wong in 8 on the men's side. Over on the women's side, Heat number 2 in the water, Beverini in 1, Burke 2, Landers 3, Nicholson 4, Lewis 5, Williamson in 6, Bendakis in 7, and Turco in lane number 8. And your early leader, pretty big lead right there for Tessa Bendakis from Greater Monmouth. On the men's side, down here in lane 3, it looks like Ryan House now picking up the pace. 50 to go there. House at 1:28.21, about a second lead over Pennington and Regan. House going to try to take it to the house. Time to beat on the men's side, 1:54.67, and we'll be just beyond that. Here comes Bendakis on the women's side. And so Ryan House, he goes 1:55.47, followed by Patrick Gavin and then Reese Pennington. Next up will be heat number 5 on the men's side. On the women's side, 2:07 is the time to beat, 2:07.77. And right there, we've got a 2:08.48 for Williamson. Olivia Williamson from Westfield. Nice swim for Olivia. On the men's side now, we have heat number 5 in. Siang in 1, Paul 2. Tristan Ronayne in lane number 3. Robert Young and the Ronayne family, another great family from the southeast Pennsylvania area. Swimming for Ridley and the Rays. Brother Tommy, a legend. Robert Young is in lane 4, Aaron Lee 5. Rowan Eamon 6, Blaze Hopkins 7, and Dylan Jewett in lane number 8. And over on the women's side, heat number 3, Aaron Richards 1, Esther Kiss 2, Brianna Smith 3, Cambria Jewett 4, Ella Romberg 5, Katie Fisher 6, Paige Fisher in 7, no relation I believe, Elliot McElpine in lane number 8. So 1:54.67, still the time to beat. Alex Morey on the men's side, and on the women's side, time to beat is 2:07. Carly Frank, 2:07.77 for 2 heats. Blaze Hoffman, Central Bucks family, YMCA, your leader. My goodness, Tim Ryan, John Pfaff going crazy right now. Big arms getting to the wall. Ooh, almost 2 big arms, but that's it. Blaze Hoffman, he goes 1:54.43, and he is now your leader on the deck. Blaze Hoffman, Central Bucks. Your leader on the deck. And on the women's side, finishing up out of heat number 3, we've got Cambria Jewett and Ella Romberg. I'm sorry, I missed that down there. It's Elliot McElpine. Gosh, all the way down here in lane number 8. I missed it. My eyeballs are looking center of the pool. So McElpine finishes up strong from Rapid Area. Heat number 4 is in the water on the women's side. Hersbrunner in 1, Scott 2, Seas 3, Kelly 4, Fox 5, Chu 6, Colburn 7, and Morgan in 8. And on the men's side, in the water right now, we've got heat number 6 of 11. Jankovic in 1, Schoenfelder 2, Thompson 3, Henry 4, Nowazwiak in 5, Reese 6, Key 7, and Anger in lane number 8. Up there in lane number 6, it looks like Nehemiah Ree from Wyckoff, your early leader. And on the women's side, it's Georgia Colburn, your leader from Western Branch. still Ree is at 126.83 going into that final 50. And on the women's side down here in lane 7, Georgia Colburn swimming big right now, trying to move up out of lane number 1. Addie Hersbrunner. And Ree, can he hold off Jen Kowiak? He does. He goes 154.47. Great swim right there for Ree. Heat 7 coming up on the men's side. Now down on the women's side. Out of lane 8. That lane 8 is something. I got to keep my eye down there. Gracie Morgan from Sussex. Here comes Georgia Colburn out of lane 7, trying to chase her down. See where they finish off here on the women's side. And they will be 2:08.00 for Georgia Colburn. Nice swim. Next up, heat number 5. On the men's side, heat 7 in the water. Yatso in 1, Gould 2. Lane number 4 is Krieger. 5 is Kress. 6 Ham. 7 Walsh. And 8 Crawl. Early leader, Hayden Gould. See what Gould's out in. He's out 52.14, followed by Kress. And tied there with Crawl, 53.67s. On the women's side, we have Fulcomer in 1, heat 5. Ava Ten Hunfeld in 2, Riley in 3, Kupski 4, Bush 5, Bradley 6, Eldridge 7, and Van Zudenhout Clarissa in lane number 8. So up at the top of your screen, lane number 2, Ava Ten Hunfeld looking strong. And then Tiffany Fulcomer also in lane number 1, now on her back. And she'll be the leader halfway through at 59.25. Splitting 31.59 on that backstroke leg. Down here on the men's side, finishing up. Again, we got to get below that 153 mark. See if these boys will be close to that, and they will be just over at a 154.75 for Hayden Gould as he finishes up. And next up on the men's side, heat number 8 of 11. Brostowitz will be in 1, Fada in 2, Davis 3, Lynn 4, Johnson 5, Henley 6, Tack 7, and Jiang in lane number 8. Over on the women's side, up there in lane number 1, Tiffany Fulcomer from York and York County, your leader. Out of lane number 3, it looks like we've got Reese Riley from Blue Ash trying to chase her down. But it will be Tiffany Fulcomer. She goes 2:08.01, still your leader. 2:07.77 there. And on the men's side, in the water right now, heat number 8 of 11. Just before our circle seeds, it took a 150-157 to get into the A final last year, 150-52.43 to the B final last year, 153.73 to the C final last year. See how quick it is this year to get there. And on the women's side, heat number 6 in the water, Herbert in 1. That's Julia. Wu 2, Bebel 3, Ramsey 4, Francis 5, Sirjak 6, Lavarini in 7, and Gill in 8. So Tack on the men's side, your leader, Evan Tack from Birmingham. Up there in lane 7, trying to hold off lane 3, Micah Davis. as these boys will be finishing up, and they will have the new top times. Micah Davis going 150, 154. The 15-year-old from St. Cloud, now unofficially your leader on the deck. Next up, first of our three circle-seated heats, heat number 9 of 11, 2IM for the men. Max Moore, 62nd in this event last year, 5th in the 2 breasts the other night from Piedmont's in 1. Alex Bauer, 66th last year, 7th in the 2 breast from Indiana County's in 2. Tyler Quarterman, 6th in the 2 back, 3rd in the 4IM from Boise's in 3. Ethan Schwab, 8th last year. He won the 200 breast this week from Birmingham's in 4. John Rusnak, he was 19th in the 100 fly the other night from Farmington Valley's in 5. Kenneth Barnacle, 7th in the 2 back from Greater Somerset County, 5th in the 100 back this week. He's in 6. Justin Dostal, 12th in the 100 fly, 12th in the 4IM from Emily Lyons in 7. And PJ Gauthier from Cheshire is in lane number 8. 208.00 for Lauren Ramsey from Reading and Berks County. Nice swim for Lauren. Coming up, heat number 7 on the women's side. We've got Cruddy in 1, Tyler Juliana in 2, Byers in 3, Petrakis in 4, Lenars in 5, Winicki in 6, McQueen in 7, and Gusson in lane number 8. That's heat 7 in the water on the women's side. Once again, top of your screen, lane number 1 on the women's side. Lane number 1 is at the bottom of your screen on the men's side. So our first of our 3 circle-seated heats is in the water. Time to beat right now, 151.54, which would have gotten into the A final last year. Barnacle out 50.96 halfway through. As I mentioned, Kenneth Barnacle, Somerset County. He was 7th in the 2 back, 5th in the 100 back this week. He also had a great long course meet earlier this year. Men coming up on their final heat. There's Cruddy up there in lane number 1 on the women's side, 56.70 going out. Ethan Schwab through that breaststroke. We know he is one of our top breaststroke brokers. He won the 2 breasts last night. He's now leading. Once again, we're looking to go 151 or below. Also now moving up, there's still Barnacles in the race on the freestyle side, looking pretty good. And he will go 149.56 is Kenneth Barnacle, now your new leader on the deck. We also had Rusnak finish strong at a 150.37, and Barnacle and Schwab was at 149.77. So McQueen now your leader on the women's side down here in lane 7. See if she can hold off the field. Scout McQueen through the 150 was 135.75. We'll see where she finishes up. From Woodson, and see if she can get the new top time, and I believe she has it. Yes, she does. Scout McQueen at 207.40. Great swim there, followed by Petrakis and then Byers. Over on the men's side, second of our 3 circle-seated heats now in the water. Heat number 10. Lane number 1 is Aiden Strath from Schrader. Lane number 2, 47th last year, 4th in the 2 breasts from Jackson is Luke Vickers. Wooby Kupski's in lane 3. He was 15th in the 2 back, 6th in the 4M from Wilkes-Barre. Lane number 4 is Will Brown, 14th last year, 4th in the 100 fly, 3rd in the 200 free this week from Piedmont. Lane number 5 is Jared Payne, 11th last year, 10th in the 100 fly, 8th in the 100 back from Springfield. Lane number 6 is Kaylin Anbar, 7th last year, 2nd in the 200 breast from New Canaan. Lane number 7, Mark Brown, 37th last year from Greensboro. And lane number 8, Sean Kelty, 41st last year, 13th in the 4IM, 16th in the 2 breast, 23rd in the 1,000 this week from the Hickory Foundation YMCA, Metropolitan Hickory, North Carolina. Time to beat, 149.56. That was Kenneth Barnacle out of heat number 9. And over on the women's side, in the water, Emily Go in 1, Addison 2, Truscott 3, Clifford 4, Ben Zudenhout, Krishna in lane 5, Hoffman in 6, Smith 7, and Blenner in 8. Time to beat right now, 207. Stout Scout McQueen. The previous heat. Here come the men. And it will be 149.99 for Jarrett Payne. So your top time remains with Barnacle. Heat number 6, final heat, getting ready for the men. Heat number 11 of 11. And then we'll be over on the women's side. Go your leader. And she is 136.37. So she'll get our men's side done here momentarily as these women finish up here. 2:07.40 time to beat. Trying to move up on the women's side out of lane number 3 is Truscott. And it will be Flynn Truscott. She goes 2:07.15. That should be your top time unofficially through 8 heats. Over on the men's side, Daniel Deal's in the water, and he's leading right now. Here we go. Jack Smith in 1 for Piedmont, 9th in the 4IM, 19th in this event last. Reese Stoner, 13th last year in this event, 5th in the 4IM. Lane number 4, Nathan Welker, 16th last year, 8th in the 2-back this week. Daniel Deal, 1st in the 100-back, 1st in the 2-back this week. He's out in a 49.44 through the backstroke. That's your quickest time so far. He's from Cumberland, Maryland. Camden Taylor, 4th last year, 17th in the 100 fly. 2nd in 2-free is in 5. Alexander Karahalis from Western Brands, 9th last year in this event, 11th in the 2-back this week. 7 is Colin Kavanaugh, 17th in the 2-back from Fanwood Scotch Plains. And Jack Mills, 6th in the 100 fly this week from Lynchburg, is in lane number 8. So Deal 120.57. And then over on the women's side, we'll have Layla Welsh from Piedmont in 1. Delaney Franklin, 72nd last year, is in 2. Devin Sargent, 21st last year, 5th in the 2-back, 7th in the 100-back this week from Upper Main Lines in 3. Sydney Gring, 6th last year, 4th in the 100 fly. And Boyertown, from Boyertown, also 2nd in the 2-free. So there's Deal at 147.24. So he'll hold down our top seed as we move through. Back over the women's side. Sydney Gring, 6th last year from Boyertown, 2nd in the 2-free. I think I mentioned that. Lane number 5 is Billy Sherratt, 17th last year, 14th in the 4IM this week. From Fanwood Scotch Plains, she's in 5. Lizzie Washburn in 6, 12th last year. 12th in the 4AM this week from Summit. Lane 7 is Charlotte Holiday from Greater Somerset County. She was 19th last year, 9th in the 100-back this week. And Emma Ten Hunfeld, 26th last year, 13th in the 4AM, 15 years old from South Kettering. And your first in is Sydney Gring at 159.72. So Gring, now your leader on the deck. And here we go on the men's side, Splash and Dash. Ryan Held currently holds our championship record at 1952. National record 1933. David Curtis from Hamilton, New Jersey. He set that back in 2021, but Ryan Held holds the championship record. So out first, there's a 22.27 for Johnson. And on the women's side, this is heat number 10, second of our 3 circle-seated heats in the water. Riley Collins from Wilkes-Barre is in 1. Sophia Youssef, 9th in the 4IM, is in 2 from Lakeland Heroes. Lane number 3, Megan Tiernan, 4th in the 1,000, 4th in the 4IM from Cheshire is in 3. Angie Coe, 2nd last year, 3rd in the 100 fly from Champagne's in 4. Erica Maltsev, 5th in the 4IM this week from Greater Somerset. Lily Zippel, 22nd last year, 6th in the 4IM from Schrader's in 6. And on the men's side, 21.71, Ponce de Leon. Finishing up on the women's side, Sarah Rodriguez, 2nd in the 200 back, 3rd in the 100 back from the Oranges is in 7. And Gabby Augustin, 4th 200 breast this week from Chippewa Valley. She's in lane number 8. Time to beat 159.72 on the women's side. Time to beat on the men's side 21.71 on the 50 freeze. E3 in the water, 25 for the men. women's side, big swim now going on out of lane number 4. That's Angie Coe. And on the men's side, that's a 21.74 for Connor Booth. Time to beat 21.71. Peyton Ponce de Leon. And here comes on the women's side, Angie Coe. She goes 158.81. She is now your leader on the deck unofficially. Great swim right there. Fantastic swim for Angie Coe. Just ahead now of Sydney Gring. Rodriguez second in that heat. And here we are on the men's side, heat number 4 in the water. And that is Luke Schmeling at 21.84. And 5 now staging on the men's side in the women's pool. Final heat, heat number 11, third of our 3 circle seated heats. Lane number 1 is Megan Unruh, 11th in the 2-3 from Boyertown. Lane number 2, Maya Schweikert, 3rd in the 2 back from Countryside. Lane number 3 is Tori Brostowicz, 2nd in the 2 breast from Schrader. Lane number 4, top seed, 1st last year, 1st in the 4am this year, 2nd in the 100 fly from Greater Somerset County, Emily Thompson. Elena Berlin's in lane number 5, 13th last year, 5th in the 100 fly this week, 2nd in the 100 back from Schrader. And in lane number 6, Kenzie Padilla, 10th in the 100 fly, 8th in the 2-3 from Upper Main Line in the water. There's Kai Batchelor, 21.42. Now your leader on the deck. So Batchelor, your leader on the deck on the men's side. So Kenzie Padilla, Molly Yakoviella in lane number 7 here in heat number 11 on the women's side. With the 2IM, 5th in the 2 breast, 17th in the 4IM, 50th last year in this event from York and York County, Megan Sharma. 6th in the 2 breast from Greater Somerset County is in lane number 8. And on the men's side, splash and dash. What do we have going here? We have Peyton Graziano at 21.32. Now your leader on the deck. Peyton Graziano, or Patton Graziano, I'm sorry. And the women in their final heat time to beat, 158.81 out of lane number 3. We've got Brostowicz, and 4 is Thompson. Thompson, our defending champion, cruising through. She'll be at 2.00. So it looks like it will be Angie Coe holding down lane number 1 tonight. On the men's side, there's a 21.83, Deacon Mascarenas. Heat number 8 on the men's side now coming up. Next up on the women's side, women's 53, Anna Mosch, 21.97 set last year, championship and national record from Greater Somerset County, 24 heats in total on the women's side. And heat number 8 in the water on the men's side. Patton Graziano, your leader on the deck, 21.21. And as we work our way through heat number 8 on the men's side, 21.57 for Phelim Crowley. Nice swim there, Crowley from Foothills. Next up on the men's side, heat number 9. On the women's side, heat number 1 in the water. Finishing up on the women's side, it will be Lizzie Miklazewski at 24.82. And on the men's side, pretty good swim down here in 2. That's Owen Guthrie at 21.52. Next up, heat 10. On the men's side, heat 2. Now in the water on the women's side. 24.82 time to beat. Miklazewski from Madison, New Jersey. on the women's side, there's a 24:04 for Maddie Boland. Westport Weston, your leader on the deck. And here we come on the men's side. And it will be out of lane number 8, Jonathan Cheng. He goes 21:73. Heat number 11, staging on the men's side in the water for the women. Heat number 3, splash and dash. And on the women's side, 24:43 for Reese Dickman. Top time remains Maddie Boland, 24:04. And here we are on the men's side, trying to get below that 21 mark. And we'll be just over again at 21:84 for Joey Lilly. Heat 12 up next from the men's side. In the water, heat number 4 for the women. Down here in lane number 8, 24:53 for Abigail Michelson. Heat 5 next up on the women's side. In the water, heat 12 for the men. On the beat 21:21, Patton Graziano. That's unofficial until we have the final results. I do not have the actual final results in front of me yet. There's a 21:30 Ian Fournier. Nice swim right there. For Ian Fournier from Kennebec Valley. Heat 13 up next. And there's a 24:55 for Maria Ponterero. Men's side in of heat 13. Staging on the women's side, heat 6. And there's your 21:31. A good swim right there for Connor Kwarzinski from Regional Y, Western Connecticut. And here on the women's side, finishing up heat number 6, it will be Emily Constable. She goes 24:71. Top time is 24:04. Maddie Boland, 14 years old, from Westport Weston, out of heat number 2. Good job, Coach Ellen and Maddie. And on the women's side, heat 7 now in the water. Inside, staging heat number 14 of 25. Heat 7 coming to the wall on the women's side, 24 heats in total. And it will be Kira Haas at 24:55. And on the men's side, it was Finn Hilliard at 21:34. Great swim for Finn. Heat 15 now up on the men's course, or staging on the men's course. Heat number 8 in the water for the women. And on the women's side, it will be 24:06, Maggie Dickinson. Still your leader, though, Maddie Boland at 24:04. And on the men's side, trying to get below that 21.2. And nope, we're at Johnny Lamb at 21:45. Heat 16 next on the men's side, heat number 9 on the women's side. So 24:04 is your time to beat on the women's side. And a great swim from Maddie Boland. There's a 24:45 for Jillian Kingsley from Nazareth Easton YMCA. And on the men's side, heat 16, now making it to the wall, and it will be a 21:33. So that is a real good time for Will Parker from York and York County. Heat number 17 up next for the men. Heat number 10 in the water for the women. And on the women's side, 24:43 for Caitlin Landers. Nice swim by Caitlin. Landers from Hamilton, New Jersey. Next up, heat 11 on the women's side. In the water on the men's side, heat 17 now coming to the wall. Nick Patino, there's your new top time. So Patino goes 21:15, Greater Somerset County. He is your new leader on the deck. Heat 18 up next for the men. Heat 11 in the water for the women. 24:04 is your top time so far. It was a great swim for Maddie Boland out of heat number 2. And it's 24:33 for Alexandra Sotek. Sotek from Berkshire Family YMCA. Over on the men's course, heat 18 just finishing up. There's a 21:40 for Kyle Silverstein. Top time remains with Nick Patino at 21:15. On the women's side, heat 12 in. Again, we're looking for below a 24, a 24:04. Still holding up. Outside, there's a 24:18. That's your second fastest time. And that is from Oshkosh, Samara Zeinert. Heat 13 up next for the women. Heat 19 to the wall for the men. 21:08. There's your new top time for Colin Jordan from Greater Spartanburg on the men's side. Great swim. And over on the women's side, finishing up heat 13. And it will be a 24:17 Ella Sellenbein from Dick Family YMCA. At 24:04, still holding up on the women's side. Men's side in, heat number 20 in the water. 21:08 time to beat. Colin Jordan from Greater Spartanburg, and it will be 20.87 Bradley Boyd for Tri-County. 20.87, now your new leader on the deck, going into heat 21 of 25. And on the women's side, now moving to the end of heat 14, 24:19, Zoe Webster from Bayside. Great swim right there. And on the men's side, now in the water, heat 21. Time to beat, 20.87, Bradley Boyd from Tri-County Y. And the men will be finishing up. And it will be a 20.77. That is your new leader, David Meyer from Woodson. Now has your new top time on the men's side out of heat 21. And on the women's side, heat 15 now finishing up. And there's your first sub 24, and that is Ella Glass, 23:76 for Ella Glass. She is from the YMCA of Northwest Louisiana. Great swim by Ella, sub 24. On the men's side, heat 22 in the water. Time to beat, 20.77, David Meyer. It's a 20.60, Ethan Vance. Nice swim from Jefferson City area. Ethan Vance, 16 years old, into our circle seats now on the men's side. And on the women's side, 23.97 for Marin McAndrew Nice swim, second fastest time there. Through all those heats, through those 16 heats. Men's side in, first of our 3 circle seated heats. Lane number 4, Shane Eckler, 38th in this event last night, 8th in the 100 fly, 11th in the 100 back this week. Rob Alexi next to him, he was 3rd in this event last year. On the women's side, heat 17 to 24 in the water, 23.76. Ella Glass is time to beat. There's a 20.22 for Shane Eckler. Great swim for Shane. Now your leader on the deck from the Ridley Rays. And on the women's side, finishing up 23.88. Great swim right there by Claire Raskakis from Upper Main Line. Heat 18 coming up on the women's sides. Second of our 3 circle seated heats, heat 24-25 in the water. Roman Jones, second in the 100 fly, 3rd in the 100 back is in 4. Luke Nebritz, 41st last year's in 5. And it will be Roman Jones. He goes sub 20, and he's at 19.99. Fastest time so far. Roman Jones from Fanwood, Scotch Plains, New Jersey, in the water on the women's side. Heat number 18. And it will be Cora Spatz at 23.86. Nice swim for Cora from Pal Krause Jr., the Tiger Sharks. Mike Leonard with a vertical there of about looks like 12 inches off the ground. Great swim for Cora Spatz. Here we go. Brendan Whitfield in the center of the pool, second last year in this event. And Brendan Whitfield goes 19.85. He will be our top qualifier unofficially. Brendan Whitfield from Lynchburg, Virginia. We're going to take a little break on the men's side. That was a 19.85 by Brendan. And we'll finish it up on the women's side. We'll move into the 800 freestyles relays. Flynn Truscott in at 23.81. Pretty good swim for Flynn from Upper Main Line. And Coach Todd there. Ella Glass still your leader out of heat 15. She was 23.76. So here we are going into heat 20 on the women's side. We'll get started with the men here in about 15 minutes. I believe that's the break before the 800. And here we are at heat 20 on the women's side. Your top time so far, 23.76. Ella Glass, YMCA, Northwest Louisiana, out of heat 15. And on the women's side, Ritter, Foster, Ogzarni, Riot, Larson, Beam, Arakilian, and Hajan. That's 1 through 8. Top of your screen is lane number 1. Near center of the pool out of lane number 5. Looks like Carly Larson from Green Bay. And it will be, she goes 23.33 and has your top time so far through. There are 5 women under 23 in that last heat. She has it through 20 heats. So Carly Larson from Green Bay, now your leader on the deck. 4 heats remain. Heat number 21 on the blocks. We've got Ross in 1, Lemler 2, Wang 3, Latimer 4, Havis 5, Williamson 6, Olumiashina in 7, and O'Leary in lane number 8 from Cheshire. That's Katrine O'Leary. And on the women's side, 23.63 for Emma Lemler. Good swim for Emma from Schrader. Now into our circle seated heats. We've got Mesher in 1. This is heat 22 of 24. First of our 3 circle seated heats. Lee in 2. Murray in 3. Headley, 3rd last year. She's in 4. Vincent, 14th last year, is in 5. Wojciechowski, 70th last year, is in 6. Dickinson in 7. 44th last year. And Napier in 8. And we've got a 22.83. That is your top time on the deck. That's a great swim by Caden Vincent from Elkins, West Virginia. 23.07 there also was a great swim. Next heat in, second of our 3 circle-seated heats, features Alexa Fulton, second last year, season 4. Lane number 5 is Morgan Thomas, 5th last year. Myron 1, Pan 2, Lawrence 3, Fulton 4, Thomas 5, Robinson 6, Cadillac 7, and Shields in 8. And it looks like it'll be Fulton at 20.60. So now she takes the lead with 1 heat to go. Alexa Fulton, she was our runner-up last year. Defending champion and record holder is now in lane number 4 staging. So we've got Thomas in 1, Collins in 2, Logan in 3, Anna Mosh. She is our record holder. Defending champion in 4, Coe's in 5, Ways 6, Art 7, and Rourke in 8. So Anna Mosh in lane number 4, but right now Angie Coe is your leader. Time to beat 20.60. 22.60, and looks like Angie Coe, she goes 22.57, and looks like unofficially she'll hold down lane number 4 tonight. We'll have those official results here momentarily. You can check out Meet Mobile. You can check out the YMCA, the USA Swimming and Diving website for the championship meet results. And I'll be signing off here for a few minutes, but thanks for joining us through these preliminary heats. We have the 800 freestyle relays coming up. We'll start on the men's course and then on the women's course, and we'll have those preliminary heats. There will be 2 heats on the men's course. And I'll find out for you on the women's course how many heats there will be here momentarily. I'm going to take a quick break. Thanks again for watching from the Greensboro Aquatic Center in the beautiful town of city of Greensboro, North Carolina, tournament town for our 2023 YMCA Short Course Nationals. We're taking a quick break. We'll hope to see you back here soon.
Last year we mixed it up because we have more than just guys on the team now.
Yes.
These folks volunteer their entire week. They're up early in the morning, and it's all about trying to make a great experience for you. So first, let's give a big hand to our volunteer spirit squad. And with that, I think they got a question for you.
Are you ready for some relays?
I'll do a slow roll. Ask all of our officials in place.
Welcome back.
Women's course, you're coming up at
800 freestyle relay on the men's side. Looks like we have 2 heats this morning to get through. So we're moving right along, which is a good thing for these swimmers. They can take that afternoon off, especially those who will be returning tonight on their final session for our 500 2IM 50 free, and then we'll be running the final time groups through the men's 800 freestyle relay tonight. So we'll have heat number 3 and heat number 4 this morning in the water on the men's side, and I'll work my way through their names as they get into the water. And we're having a great time here in Greensboro, Ornament Town. Had a beautiful week, a lot of great fast swimming, and they're calling the officials back to their post right now so we can get started on these relays on the men's course, and then we'll go on the women's course momentarily just after that. So actually they're looking like they're staging up also on the women's side. We want to make a go of it. Which isn't a bad thing, as I mentioned, and get that afternoon rest in. Got a great week. There's a lot of trivia questions. I believe that's posted on our website about our 100 years. Some really neat things happening. You know, we've had like winningest individual in the 4IM on the women's side since 1996 as Leah Gingrich and Haley Flickinger. Leah Gingrich from West Shore, Pennsylvania. She's still swimming. I see her in the Tier Pro Series. You know, so still swimming that 200 fly. I'll never forget when I was calling back in Maryland back in many years ago, maybe 2008 Olympic Games. She came back from trials, and she actually posted a faster time than her trial time in the 2 fly at YNATS, and that record stood for many, many years. But here we are on the men's side. We'll have heat number 3. So heat number heat number 3 in the water is a Regional Y Western Connecticut down here in lane number 1 with Dan Godino leading off. Chambersburg heat in lane number 2 with Derek Stepp. They're in lane number 2. Upper main line, Tommy Mao is in 3. Greensboro, Owen Nye in lane number 4. Champaign County, lane number 5 is Isaac Carr. Lane number 6, Campbell McFall for Indian Valley. Lane number 7, Jeremy Muller, Rock River. And lane number 8 is Brady Robidas for Boyertown. So I think if you're seeing some things at home, it looks like the heat they're showing is heat number 1. It's actually heat number 3. Heat number 1 and 2 will swim tonight at finals, as they're the fastest seeded heats. These are the 3rd and 4th fastest heats in the water. Over on the women's side, Hamilton, they have it right on the women's side right now, but on the men's side they have heat 1. but Hamilton is in lane number 1 with Caitlin Landers. 2 is Regional Y Western Connecticut with Zoe Petrojonas. Lane number 3 is Cora Spetz for Pal Crosley. Lane number 4 for Champaign County's Maren McAndrew. Lane number 5 is Elise Paschal for Oshkosh. Lane number 6 is Morgan Thomas for Piedmont. Lane number 7 is Annie Liebold for South Family. And lane number 8, Sydney Lillis for the Wilton Y Wahoos. And over on the men's side, we do have it changed over now, and that is heat number 3. So your second swimmers are in. Their leader, upper main line. Looks like Thompson in 1, Estep in 2, Jacob Nowaswiak in 3, Sieber 4, Miller 5, Liao 6, Shield 7, and Green in 8 on the men's side. And on the women's side through 150, pretty big lead right there for Piedmont. And that is Morgan Thomas. Let's see what she puts in here in this heat. My goodness, that's a great swim right there. So Champaign, Illinois, your leader on the men's side, followed by Chambersburg and then Greensboro. 150.44 for Thomas going out. And so Piedmont is your leader, followed by Hamilton up there in 1, and then Oshkosh in lane number 5. Second swimmers in on the women's side. And here come our third swimmers on the men's side. Men's side is still Champaign, Illinois at 324.85, followed by Upper Mainline and then Chambersburg. So third swimmers in, Bobby Regan in 1, Jen Ritchie 2, Vanette Bedacker in 3, Mark Brown 4, Aiden Williams 5, Oliver Stayback in 6, Noah Hernandez 7, and Evan Carl in 8. On the women's side, Emerson Dalton in 1, Maggie Rutledge 2, Olivia Scott in 3, Babette Bradley in 4, Kirsten Deitchwheeler in 5. I'm sorry, I'm on the third swimmer there. It's Lexi Summers in 1, Mia Hatzitz 2, Mia Latimer 3, Taylin O'Donnell 4, Ella Romberg 5, Layla Welsh 6, Emily Kyer in 7, and Virginia Hastings in lane number 8, which is at the bottom of the screen. So right now, it's Piedmont leading Hamilton up there in lane number 1, and down here in lane number 8 is Wilton. So that's your spread there throughout that heat. Piedmont at 3:15.39, about 4 seconds ahead of Hamilton. And on the men's side, more to go on this leg. It is still Champaign, followed by Upper Mainline and then Chambersburg. Lane 1 at the bottom of your screen on the men's side, and on the women's side, lane number 1 is at the top of your screen. All right, now our third swimmers will be getting in on the women's side. And so far, right now, it is still Piedmont on the women's side, and then Hamilton and Wilton. And on the men's side, I'll call their names out momentarily. On the women's side, it's Emerson Dalton 1, Maggie Rutledge 2, Olivia Scott 3, Babette Bradley 4, Kirsten Deitchwheeler in 5, Mariam Mithwal in 6, Emma Tinhunfeld 7, and Anya Iyer in lane number 8. I got ahead of myself there on the women's side. And on the men's side, your anchors are in. Peter Horan, Amir Tasker, Peter Horan in 1, Amir Tasker 2, Logan Richards 3, Johnny Edwards 4, Nolan Miller 5, Cody Lonsbury 6, Camden Taylor 7, and R.J. Schaefer in for Boyertown in lane number 8 at the top of your screen. Still here in the 800 freestyle relay on the women's side, heat number 3. Still Piedmont, followed by Hamilton, and then it is Oshkosh in lane 5, taking over third just ahead of Wilton. National record 6:34.89, set back in 2017. Katz, Nutter, Furley, and Katz for Sarasota. They hold the national and the championship meet record on the men's side. On the women's side, It is York and York County at 7:10:06. Set back in 2015. York and York County, Small, Ilgenfritz, Braswell, and Harnish. Courtney Harnish. So here are the women in their third leg. Finishing up on the men's side, it will be Champaign, Illinois. They go 6:50:60, followed by Upper Main Line and then Greensboro. A good finish right there. Next up for them will be the second heat of this morning. This is heat number 4 officially of the 800. And now on the women's side, your anchors are in. So here are your anchors. Alana Rogue in 1, Olivia Herbert 2, Ellen Lang 3, Angie Coe 4, Addie Hirschbrenner in 5, Sarah Wells 6, Ava Ten Hunfeld in 7, and Anya Congratera in lane number 8. Still Piedmont on the women's side. Followed by Hamilton and Oshkosh. And then we'll get to the men's side here momentarily. Real good swim for Piedmont, I'll tell you. Doing a great job, and there's a 50 turn left. Coming out of these early heats, you never know. Springfield leading on the men's side just ahead of New Canaan and then Western Branch, Delaware. And we're finishing up with Piedmont on the women's side. Good anchor leg by Sarah Wells. They finish up at 7:38:02. Followed by Oshkosh out of lane number 5 and Hamilton up there in lane number 1. So they'll stage next for the heat number 4, our final heat of this morning's session. And over on the men's side, the final heat in Western Branch, Delaware with Kyle Hollis in 1, Blazer is in 2 for Springfield, and Barr was in for New Canaan. In lane 3, Patrick in 4. For Wyckoff, Williams in 5 for Countryside. And they're just finishing up these swimmers. Shu for Boise was in 6. Herring was in 7 for Jackson. And Kupski in 8 for Wilkes-Barre. Now on the water, Cameron Bird in 1. Jared Payne 2. Deacon Mascarinas in 3. Nehemiah Reed 4. Seth Roderick in 5, Tyler Quarterman in 6, Dan Ham in 7, and Luke Healy in 8. All right, on the women's side, heat number 4 in the water. And over on the men's side, we'll be finishing up there. Pretty big, good lead there for Springfield, Ohio at 2:56:82, 25:99 on that last split. So they're trying to put some water between them and looks like Western Branch, Delaware down there in lane number 1. On the women's side, Wilkes-Barre in lane number 2 with Kelly, Western Branch, Fitzgerald's, Caitlin Fitzgerald's in 3, Gabby Estinis in 4 for Reading, Henderson in 5, that's Caitlin Henderson for Greensboro in lane number 5, Amy Penn for Farmington in 6, Gabby Augustin in 7. Those were the leadoff swimmers. Now we have in the water on the women's side Mary Kupski in 2. Lane 3 is Natalie Johnson. Lane 4, Amy Go. Lane 5, Hadley Osborne. Lane 6, Casey Sanders. Lane 7, Ava Instensness. And over on the men's side now, we have our third swimmers in, and that's Josh Juhas in lane 1, Chase Fife in 2, Ben Madden 3, Sam Skibo 4, Tyler Kukovecki in 5, Blake Edis in 6, Luke Vickers 7, and Zan Ekelbeko in lane number 8 for Wilkes-Barre. So Springfield, you're still your leader on the men's side. Now here comes Wyckoff. Wyckoff's been pretty good in the sprint relays. They won the 200 free relay the other night. Now they are moving ahead here in the 800 relay. Wyckoff and Springfield, Ohio, and Western Branch, Delaware down here in lane number 1. And it is Wyckoff, Springfield, then Western Branch, Delaware. Those are your top 3. New Canaan also in the mix right down here. And on the women's side, big lead right here. And that is Farmington, Michigan, out of lane number 6. Right now, well ahead of the field. And they were at 3:46.85. So third swimmers in for the women. Peyton Stauffer in 1, in 2. Liza Johnson in 3. Lauren Ramsey in 4. Marina Lau in 5. Emmy DeRico in 6. Evie Arnold in 7. And on the men's side, will be 30 lengths through, and your anchors are in. Redding in 1, Lofton 2, Garner 3, Grannon 4, Tinsley 5, Shue in 6, Nist 7, and Watkins in 8. Wyckoff, now your leader, Western Branch, Delaware. Oh, Wyckoff doing a great job here. Showing some strength in this 800, but now look at lane number 1. Here comes Western Branch, Delaware. They can see each other. They'll be finishing it up. Oh, nice swimmage way. Wow, Western Branch, Delaware. They come back 25-33. Wyckoff finishes up in 2nd, and New Canaan comes all the way back, and they go below 700. So Wyckoff or Western Branch at 6:54.06, 7/100ths ahead of Wyckoff at 6:54.13. And on the women's side, we'll be getting ready for our anchors going in. It's still Farmington at 5:41.95 through 600. Followed by Reading and Berks County in lane number 4. And then Chippewa Valley in Wisconsin there in lane number 7. So right down here though in lane number 6, Farmington family having a great swim. Riley Collins in 1, Alyssa Napier 2, Ava Knopf-Snyder in 4, A.K. Gill in 5, Josie Blanchard in 6 for Farmington, and Peyton Watson in for Chippewa Valley in lane 7. And we'll be finishing up here momentarily on Farmington. They were at 7-9 with 50 to go. So real good swim for the ladies from Farmington. Their anchor in, Josie Blanchard. She's 14 years old. And they go 7:40.53. So that's a pretty good swim right there for Farmington. And that basically, when this heat concludes, that will be it for this morning. I think I heard we have a swim off for 16th place of the 53, so we'll have to keep our eye on that. But I'm going to allow Bruce to take you through that swim off, which I'm not sure when that will happen, but it will be in the women's 53 from what I understand. So, or no, actually it's the men's 53. And it's happening right now for Ben Sitzma and David Meyer. David Meyer from Woodson, they were both 20.77. Ben Sitzma from Rapid Area. And this is for 16th to get into the B final, a scoring round. And there's Meyer. He was out a little faster, 3/100ths off the start. We're looking to get below that 20.77 mark. And it will be 20.58 for Meyer. And it looks to be 20.64 for Sitzma. So nice swim by those guys, and it will be Meyer. So Mayer will be in at 16. I'm sorry, I was being distracted there a little bit by the PA announcer. And only because he was talking about another swim off coming up, and they will be swimming a 200 rather than a 500 swim off. So I'm not sure what place that is, but I appreciate you all tuning in this morning and listening to our live stream here from Greensboro, North Carolina, Tournament Town, at the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center for our 2023 YMCA Short Course National Swimming Meet. It is our 100th year. So once again, I thank you. We'll keep our eye on that swim off. I believe he was saying it was for the 500, and they were going to swim a 200. So again, thank you. I'm Bob McDowell. Don't forget, tonight, tune back in for finals, and they will start tonight at 5:15. But I would ask you to tune in around 4:45. Get your seat, get your popcorn for your dinner, and we will be doing our devotions at 5 p.m. and National Anthem and any special announcements. Estimated time to end the session tonight will be 8:15. So that just gives you a little heads up. It's a big long session tonight with our 500s and our 800 relays going tonight, the top two. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, appreciate it, and we'll see you back here a little bit later this afternoon. Have a great afternoon.